Welcome back to Sam's Trucks. Today we're going to be working on the Cummins swap for the first time in about a month. We had a baby, my wife and I. Well, my wife had the baby and I kind of stood by. Anyways, it's time to put the Cummins into the frame here. Got a couple little things I got to do before we drop it in, but I'm going to bolt the transmission, which is sitting up on the shelf up there, to the motor, clean it all, make sure it's all ready to go. And then we're gonna slam her in the frame and build a cross member. That is the plan for today. We're gonna jump right into it, my friends. Okay, so I've got the transmission here. I've got the bell housing and the clutch that I wanna use already on the engine here. So I'm gonna pop this bell housing off, and then I think I'm gonna run this over to the car wash and we're gonna spray her down really good. And then we're gonna paint it and then put it all together. Now, I was told this transmission is in good shape. I guess we'll find out when we get it all back together. I'm gonna pop this off now. These ones aren't terribly heavy. There we go. Just like that. Now what I'm gonna do is chain it all up and we're gonna drop it in this bad boy right here. Now I'm gonna show you guys some tips here that'll hopefully help you out down the line before we put the engine in. These have to go on like this with the tab pointing forward. Now, I made these motor mounts. I just copied the Summit ones because I've bought them 2 times, and then I made a template and then just made them myself. So we'll see if they work. I hope so. I would encourage you just to go and buy them. They make your life so much easier because you can just bolt the Cummins right into the factory clamps or the motor mounts on the Chevy. Now, one thing you want to do is just buy new ones of these and then pack them full of rubber. Now, Flex Seal makes like a caulking gun kind of stuff, and I just packed it full of here and let it sit for a week, and then it hardens and it stiffens up the motor mount quite a bit, or else your engine's going to shake quite a lot. So I'll have to give this thing another wash when we're all done here, but motor mounts are on, everything's looking good. We're just going to back the truck up real slow. And then we're just gonna drop her right in place. And, you know, if everything goes as planned, it should go really nice. You know what they say, if it ain't cut, it ain't custom. Now that'll give us the clearance we need for getting our belts on and, you know, having the dropping the engine down, because the engine still needs to come down a bit more. All right, so we got the engine in, actually, you know, like situated in the truck here, and we're gonna be putting together the cross member now, and then that'll be the end of that, and then we're gonna build the exhaust and everything here. And it looks like the drive shaft, the factory drive shaft, might work. It's going great. I'm gonna fabricate up this transmission mount, and then we'll be done for today. Think. Now I'm gonna bolt it to the cross member and take it to the car wash and clean it off really good. And then we'll bolt it all together and paint it. One thing I wanted to tell you guys, when you're doing this without the body off, when you're doing it with the body still on, these pieces right here, which are your rubber insulators, you have to put those on the motor side. So you bolt your motor mounts and then you bolt the rubber insulators to that, and then you put it in the truck, because you won't be able, there won't be enough clearance with your firewall to slide these, which I should get a light so you can actually see them. You won't be able to slide these pieces here over this if everything's in the truck. So rather than goofing around, you know, with a used rusty tank. We figured might as well just go the extra mile and buy a new one. Man, that thing is shiny. We've got our sending unit, which I tested and it's good. And if you want to know how to test that, pretty much you just put a ohm meter between these two wires, your ground and your power, and then you go like this. And if it's reading resistance, then you know you're good. So that's gonna sit in there like that. First of all, I should have put the O-ring on. I've seen lots of guys online saying you need to be running a sump for this. Now, if you're running lots of fuel pressure and lots of power, maybe you wouldn't need that, but on the two I've done, the factory Chev sending unit is more than good enough. So you don't need to worry about, you know, spending all that money on a sump. Now, we'll put our straps on. So when I was pulling the tank off, this one actually stripped off. The bolt broke. So what I'm gonna do is cage it. I'm gonna put this on here. I'm gonna take this off, clean up the metal, and then I'm gonna weld this nut to that plate so that it's like all the other ones. We'll spin it out. Now you can see it's caged on there again, just like all the other 7 of them. The last, couple weeks here have been a bit of a goof around, but I'm in the shop again working on the CUMMINS swap here. So what I'm gonna do today, I'm gonna replace the brake cylinders in the rear axle here because, after sandblasting and everything, we need to take this all apart and make sure it's clean, all the sand's blowing out of there. And then while I'm in there, I might as well just replace the cylinders because, they're probably old and they're probably gonna leak, and I don't want this thing to have any problems. Okay, so we got the diff done. We got the new brake cylinders on. We got the diff oil changed. We put new wheel seals in. We painted everything, made sure the bearings were good, oiled everything up, and put the cover back on. So the next thing to do, which I love doing, is drive shafts. We're putting new U-joint in. I don't know if I'm going to do all the U-joints. I'm going to test them, and then if one of them is bad, then we'll fix it. But I'm going to go ahead and do that now. This is what goes into the gearbox right here. So I have a conversion U-joint, which is this part number 499, and this U-joint, as you can see, is wider this way than it is this way. This is the Chevy side, this is the Dodge side. So this one will allow you to use the factory Chevy drive shaft up against the Dodge Getrag transmission. My good friend Monty's here with his welding truck, and we're doing some work on that. And CUMMINS swap is coming along nicely. We're working on the exhaust today. Well, Monty's gonna build it all out, and it's gonna look really nice. We're gonna come out right in front, right behind the tire here. Axle dumps just look junky in my opinion. Right, Monty? Got that right. so as you can see there, we did a lot of work, a lot of goofing around, a lot of little things, but I think it'll all paid off in the end. Now I'm going to show you the part I'm the most excited about, and that is the exhaust. I was really wanting to go over the axle with the 4-inch, but with the 8-inch drop in the back, that's just a little bit difficult. But we got her done, and it took a couple days, but it's going to be worth it, and it's going to sound good, and it's going to look really good on the ground. So what you want for a Chevy square body when you're Cummins swapping, if you're going to go with 4-inch, use the Dodge first gen, so 89 to 93 4-inch downpipe, and it'll actually, if you're using a 2-wheel drive, it'll all work real nice. Now what I did here was my good buddy helped me out, and we notched, we got this piece of 10-inch pipe and cut the factory Chevy cross member, welded it in and painted it so that we didn't have to make some weird bends going over that, and it's gonna work super nice. Looks good, it won't rub, nothing will rub. Moving our way back here, we went over the axle here. So this is a Duramax over the axle piece of pipe that we cut up and made work. Now something I'm super stoked about is this. As you can see, we notched the pipe about 1 inch so that there's more clearance between the axle and the exhaust. And we went on a nice straight angle level with the ground with the exhaust, because I do not like it at all when guys have it pointing like this or down. It's just nice and square. It's gonna look really good. It's gonna sit about 1.5 inches underneath the fender. Now, I modified this bracket here because the brake line where it comes from factory comes like right here. So I modified this bracket. I cut off a piece of it and then welded it onto this piece of flat bar. And that comes over here real nice, clears everything, and it looks pretty much factory. It may not look like it in the video, but it does look good, I promise. Now, another important thing to keep in mind here is if you're putting a drop kit on, you need to modify your brake line here, your rubber brake hose, because the factory one goes up like this and it'll run into your upper control arm. So I heated it up and I bent it down so that it clears. It's not going to be rubbing on anything. So keep that in mind as well. And while you're here, you know, get your starter wiring all figured out, run your wires and get your new cables all done so you're not goofing around underneath. And I also ran wire to the back here for the tail lights and everything, just so that's already there and I don't have to do that, because it's easiest to get everything done on the frame rail while the body's off. I know that's a lot of information, but I hope that helps you guys out. And remember, if the channel hits 50,000 subscribers by the time this build is done, which will probably be in the next 2 months, I'm gonna give it away. We've got a long way to go, but hey, we might make it there. Coming together real nice, and everything, I'm trying to do it right, not slacking on anything. And yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. Like, leave a comment, subscribe, please leave a comment. Ask me something about something, tell me about your truck, I don't know. Just say something, it's fun talking to you guys. And we'll get this bad Ricky done soon, I hope, the next couple months here, and then we'll be driving it around and we'll do a whole highlight video on that. But I'm thinking we'll probably do 2 more videos, 3 more videos before the truck is done. So follow along. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.